Well, hello, welcome in. I'm Shauna. Welcome to the channel. Today we're doing another inventory, but we're going to be doing a beauty inventory. This was an inventory I did in February of 2020, January of 2021, and now a year and 4 months later, we're going to be doing one in May. I started this in February in hopes of being able to track my empties because I had so many samples that year. It was wild how many samples I had, at least for me. And then I did one in January also thinking that I could, update later. I never did. So I'm thinking, you know what, this might just be a yearly thing, like once a year, I kind of see where I'm at, talk about my numbers. Y'all love inventories too. So we're going to do that. And I think after this one, I'm going to have to overhaul the inventory system because the way that I started it, just too many categories, too many freaking categories. There's like 15 categories here. Anyways, so we're going to be talking about all of my non-makeup empties: hair, skin, body, bath, those kinds of things. Just for brevity, I'm just going to refer to them instead of like in February 2020, I'm just going to say in 2020. So, okay, let's talk about shampoos and conditioners first. We're going to do hair first. I had 22 shampoos and conditioners, basically 10 of each. There was quite a few samples in there, but also at least 4 full size of each, which is a lot. And then in 2021, I had 8 and now I have 5. I personally feel like the 5 is too much. One of them is a purple shampoo that is left over from this era, and then one is this sample. So I really only have 3. I really only have 3. I don't think I need more than 2, really, except for if, there's a sample or something I bring in. I'm never now, because all my samples are gone, if I get a couple of samples in an order of shampoo and conditioner, that's not something I really am going to stress about anymore, and not want to, put them here and feel shitty because they're inflating my numbers. They're samples. Like, you'll finish them in a week. So nothing to really worry about anymore. I do like variation at the moment, at least in my hair products. I do like changing up scents. I do have 2 different shampoos. But I never use the second one because I'm always using the first one because I really want to finish it. So I don't really at this point feel like I need more than 1 shampoo, 1 conditioner. And then maybe if there's, like I get dandruff or something, then have something for that. But other than that, that's kind of it. For hair masks in 2020, I had 6. Last year I had 3. Now I have 2. And they're both foil packs. So I don't actually own any full-size hair masks anymore. This is the first time in probably a decade where that's been true. And one distinction I do want to make going forward is that I do have a category in here called beauty samples, and that's everything that I would consider a one-time use. It's mostly skincare, but there are some hair care things in there, mostly foil packs. But I, for whatever reason, felt like because these were big that they should be counted as a hair mask. I mean, either way, at the end, the total numbers are the same, whether I categorize this as a hair mask or a beauty sample, so I don't need to worry about it too much. But the fact that I no longer own any full-size hair masks, I mean, I've come a long way. For hairspray, I had 2 in 2020, 1 last year, 1 this year. For dry shampoo, 2 in 2020, 1 last year, 2 now. One of those is a sample, but it's like it's not huge. It's still pretty big. Like, it's a few uses, 5, 10, maybe. I don't know. I don't use dry shampoo all that much, maximum once a week. So my dry shampoo will last me forever and ever. So I'll probably have to for a long time. But again, because it's a sample, I don't really feel bad about it. I also didn't buy it, so there's that. A heat protectant, I had 4 in February. 3 of those were samples. 1 last year, 1 this year. So what I'm saying about the categories, like, do you need to know? Anyways, for hairstyling products, I had 10 in February, 6 last year, 6 this year. I basically have no crossover anymore. So it's all like, I have one hair oil, I have one mousse, I have one, I don't know, whatever. I currently have some curly hair products and I don't really know what to do with them. I might actually give them to, now that I think about it, I don't use them. I have wavy hair, but even like I tried using them recently and I tried, like not brushing my hair and seeing what happens, and my hair is only very slightly wavy. I will not use those products. So I think I have somebody I can give them to. That will be great. And hairstyling products, back in the day, my numbers were so large to me that I was so uncomfortable with everything. Whereas now, if I want to, let's say, get a hair gloss as an example, and I raise my numbers by 1, that thing doesn't bother me anymore, because I have so little overlap to find something or add something in. And also, not even the overlap, even if there is overlap, I'm way more intentional about bringing stuff in now that I trust myself to make these kinds of purchases. So the anxiousness about how little can I own and being obsessed with owning the least amount of things as possible is just not here anymore. So that's all the hair stuff. Across the board, numbers are either down or the same. The biggest change was in the shampoo and conditioner category. I had so much. So for the hair category in 2020, I had 46 items in 2020, 20 items last year, and then this year I have 18. So not a big difference from last year, which I'm not really surprised about, because once I got the samples down, then most things, the thing that I have had to work on the most is the hair products, like the shampoo and conditioner. Everything else is pretty great. Now let's go into the body category next. In 2020, I had 5 body washes. Last year 2, now 1. I don't need more than 1. 5 is just excessive. The only time I think having more than 1 would be is if I'm out somewhere and there's a sale on it. And it's like, okay, I have one. Here's one I think I'll like. That's at most. But I've gone into a lot of situations this year where there have been sales on stuff and I'm like, doesn't really bother me. So there's that. Soap last year, some of the stuff, the numbers are so weird. For soap, 2020 I had 4. Last year I had 9 and now I have 2. Why did I ever own so much damn soap? I don't understand. Okay, in some respects I do, because if you ever buy one of those Dove soap packs, I think there's 4 in there. So, okay, I could see 4, maybe 5. I could get that. But 9? I'm one person. I have one body. Like, why do I... The 9 last year is actually so wild to me. And the fact that I only have 2, I'm so proud of myself for taking like a year and a half to get down those 9 soaps. Body lotion. 2020 I had 9. Last year I had 3. Now I have 5. Some of those are actually minis now that are to, like, we'll just sit around until I finished ones and handbags, and then they'll be switched out, which is why I bought them. And I bought 5, and there's only 2 that are backups at the moment, because the relevant bag or purse, that one hasn't been emptied yet, but they will be used. And that is a backup that actually makes sense to me, because I like the formula. There's different scents. I like one in each bag. Is anybody else a little nuts about having body cream in each bag? Because listen, if I get a purse and I'm out in the world, not if I get a purse, if I'm out in the world and my hands are dry and I don't have body cream or hand lotion, I will go to the nearest store and buy one. I cannot be without hand lotion. The same as with lip chap. That's a practice I'm just gonna leave right there. Self tanner. I've had one the whole time. It's the same one. Time to use it up this year. Shaving cream. 1. I replaced it last year. It's just been 1 the whole time as well. Bath bombs. 4 in 2020. 2 last year. I don't have any now. I had a category of bath products, like maybe salts, bubble bath, things like that. 2 in 2020, 3 last year, 0 now. I don't have a bathtub now, so there's that. Body scrubs, 1 in 2020, 1 last year. I finished mine up, so I don't currently have any for the body. So for the body category in 2020, I had 27, last year 21, now 10. It's basically halved from last year, but a good portion of that is the fact that I don't have bath bombs or bath supplies at all. I did reduce the number of soaps. I mean, that's also the biggest reduction numbers too. Now let's go to skincare. This is overall a larger category. There's just more options. So the first thing is face masks. In 2020, I had 27. This is a category that makes the least amount of sense to me. And it, even in all of beauty, including makeup, I have not had more of any single product more than this. It's kind of shocking to me that I had so many face masks, but also I think this is the epitome of try to try and also falling into the traps of feeling desperate to fix skin issues. And then also just the height of consumption. Like, you can always have another face mask because there's different concerns. So last year I had 7, now I have 8. And to be honest, 2 of them are foil packs, like single-use masks that I got in for free in various situations. So I have 2 of those. So I really only have 6. And just, I'm looking at the photos here. 2 of them are like 1 use away from being done. And so 3 is probably closer to the number that I would like. So we're getting there with face masks. I've only repurchased 1. So it's all basically been the same and just kind of lowering the numbers. And the other ones that came in were the foil packs, as I mentioned. Cleansers. I had 8 in 2020, 4 last year, 3 this year. 1 I bought, 2 are samples that I got in various places that I'm using up as well. So that's great. And not just samples, like deluxe size samples. One is the Glossier Milky Jelly Cleanser, and I got that maybe in 2020 or last year, I'm not quite sure. And I was keeping that as a travel size because it's actually, there's so much product in there. I went away a couple times with it and it's still more than half full. But I'm just going to use it now, and then whenever I finish it, and I can just reuse the packaging. Face creams. In 2020, I had 15. I was hoarding samples. Last year I had 4, now I have 3. 1 morning, 1 night, and then I have 1 that's when I need more for either of them, like more moisture, which is actually a recent purchase. Makeup remover, I had 2 in 2020, 1 last year, and 1 now. I personally only feel like I need 1. I don't really know what I would do with 2. Toner, 1 in 2020, 0 last year, 2 now. 1 I bought, 1 is a sample, like a deluxe size sample, again pretty big, so it's not in the beauty samples category. Eye cream, 3 in 2020, 2 last year, 2 this year. 1 is a sample that actually should be in the beauty samples, but I mean it's here, so it is what it is. I only think I need 1 eye cream. I don't know why I've ever felt I need more than 1 eye cream. Like that I don't actually understand. I get now that I have, a sample that I got. I didn't choose it. It just came. I get that. But previously, owning 3 eye creams doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Serums, I had 7 in 2020, 4 last year, and 6 now. Now, I can say that how I'm qualifying serums is very different than what it was in 2020. Now, it should have a different name, but I'm trying to, bridge together how I thought about skincare in 2020 and right now. Right now, serums is any single product that has an active in it. So I have a niacinamide in there, I have like treatments. So there's a variation of products in there, really, including my like exfoliating, Paula's Choice, that exfoliator, that's in there. All together, yeah, I have 6, but they all serve different purposes. Do I have too much? Maybe 1 too many, really, 1's a mini, but no more than that, honestly. Facial oils, I had 4 in 2020, 3 last year, 1 now. The one that I have now says it's a serum, but it's actually a face oil. I don't think I need more than 1 facial at a time. For face scrubs, 3 in 2020, 4 last year, 5 now. 4 of those are samples that, again, I didn't pick. They just came to me. I don't need so many facial scrubs. I think I might actually just give some of these away because I don't need this many. It takes me ages and ages to use one, let alone all of these minis. So those are products that I would like to actually get rid of as well. Acne products, 4 in 2020, 3 last year, 2 now, and they're 2 different spot treatments. I would like to have one. I don't want to buy any more until I've actually finished the 2, and that's probably at least a year's worth of usage, if not more. Sunscreen, I didn't calculate that in 2020. Last year I had 4, now I have 1, and it's actually a body sunscreen. Last year they were all face sunscreens, none of them were for body that I was calculating, so there's probably one that was missing because I've always had one. I only have 1 for body now. I don't have any for the face. The exception is that my day cream does have SPF in it, but I don't just have an all-out face sunscreen. Now that I'm talking about it, especially when it comes to something like going to the beach, which is coming up now, I think would just be beneficial to have. And even just going out for walks now and, you know, that mid-afternoon application doesn't really make sense to reapply my moisturizer. So I do think that a facial sunscreen is actually in my future. Beauty samples, I have 9. I didn't really have this category in either of the other 2. The samples were dispersed throughout, and these again are just things that I felt like were a single use basically. So the total number of things for 2020 was 147, last year 79, and right now is 70. I feel pretty great about these overall numbers. I feel as though very few of my categories are bloated. Some of them have maybe a couple of things more than I would like, but that's not very many. And I'm thinking totally across the board. I probably have a total of maybe like 5 things that I have, like 5 things too many. So overall, that's pretty great. And I feel like my sweet spot for what is enough for me or what is enough for me is probably between 60 and 70 beauty products. That's probably the sweet spot. And if I'm in that range, then I'm in my range that I qualify as enough. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this is that my mindset has changed a lot. And yes, in 2020, my life, I just had so many samples. I could not stop collecting samples, deluxe size, sample sizes, foil packs. It was always like, give me more. There is no such thing as enough because they're free. I didn't pay for them, but I also didn't even calculate, do I like them? Are they going to be good to use? And when it comes to things like moisturizers and cleansers, the foil pack is basically one use. There's not enough in there to determine whether you like it or not. So I think a lot of those things are kind of useless, and there are very few samples that I get now. Like I usually don't get samples. And also here's the reason why. I placed an order at Sephora recently. It was for a skincare product. And I selected 2 samples that I was actually excited about getting. The Vitamin Enriched Face Base by Bobbi Brown, and then a hair sample. I didn't actually get those samples, and I was given samples that I genuinely, not that I felt meh about them, but I disliked them. So I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with this stuff now that I don't actually want? For the most part, samples are not a good use of my time anymore. And also for skincare, which I feel is a little bit different than with makeup. I mean, I think it still applies somewhat, but for me, it feels a little bit different than skincare, is that, you know, my skin can change a lot within 2 weeks. So I don't think I'll ever be the kind of person who'll just have one moisturizer. What if I need a little bit more? What if I need a little bit less? You know, my skin has been really dry and I've been really struggling with trying to figure out what the heck to use. And that's the same thing with masks. I think I'm going to be the person who's always going to like to have a handful of masks, probably 3, maybe 4. If I have the mindset of how little stuff can I own, then there will always be in the back of my mind this kind of anxiousness of like, oh, if you have more than one, then you have too many. And I don't need to feel that way about my skincare. I've worked really hard to cut the clutter, which there genuinely was back in 2020. And now I feel like I have a really reasonable amount of stuff and even a couple of fun extras in terms of samples. Now I feel satisfied with what I own. I feel like I have enough in most categories. And now truly, I'm only buying skincare, beauty products, bath and beauty, all of that stuff when I have a need. I'm only going on Sephora when I have a need for something, and I'm only bringing in products when I'm like, okay, I want this thing, and here's the answer to that. And I've been like that for about a year now. And I'm most proud of that change in behavior. Even if the numbers didn't, like, let's say the numbers were higher, that wouldn't really matter as much to me as the change in behavior. That matters most. And I'm not, going around being like, oh, what's new out there? What's new skincare? And just kind of buying stuff to try and just, always buying. I'm now looking for things and then buying something once it is already on my radar as something I would like to purchase or need to purchase or what have you. So that's everything. Thank you so much for watching. I loved having you here today, and I hope that you'll come back soon to catch more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you again around here soon. Bye.